All right, you lot. There's a quote that gets thrown around in every single finance video ever made. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, usually attributed to Einstein. Did Einstein actually say that? No, almost certainly not. There's no record of it anywhere in anything he ever wrote or said. It's one of those quotes the internet just decided belonged to Einstein because putting a famous name underneath it makes people more likely to believe it. But, and this is the annoying part, even though Einstein definitely didn't say it, the sentiment is actually correct. Compound interest really is one of the most quietly powerful things in personal finance. It's just not always explained as it should be. So today we're going to fix that. My name's Leo, this is Financially Fit Millennial, and this is episode 2 of Investing from Zero, the series taking you from knowing nothing to actually investing, step by step. By the end of the video, you're going to understand exactly how compound interest works, why it matters more than almost anything else, and why your money doing nothing for 10 years is a much bigger deal than it sounds. Okay, let's strip this one right back. First, normal interest, the boring kind, the kind your savings account barely gives you. This is what we call simple interest. You put in your money, it earns a bit extra, next year it earns the same bit extra again, flat, predictable, a bit dull. Compound interest is very different. Here's where it gets interesting. With compound interest, you don't just earn money on the money you put in. You earn money on the money you put in plus the extra money you already earned. Your gains start earning their own gains. It's a snowball rolling down a hill. At the top, it's tiny, pathetic really, a sad little snowball. But as it rolls, it picks up more snow. And because it's bigger now, it picks up snow even faster. And because it's bigger again, it picks up snow even faster than that. By the bottom of the hill, it's not a snowball anymore. It's a problem for anyone standing at the bottom of that hill. That snowball is your money, and the hill is the time. The longer the hill, the more insane the snowball gets by the time it reaches the bottom. Right, let's actually see it happen. I promise this will be painless. There's no formulas, there's no Greek letters, just one example done properly. Let's say you invest $1,000, just once, a single lump sum, and let's say it grows at 10% a year, which is roughly the long-term average for the US stock market. After year one, your $1,000 has grown by 10%. That's an extra $100. You now have $1,100. Simple enough so far? Yeah. Now here's the bit that matters. In year two, you don't earn 10% on your original 1,000. You earn 10% on that 1,100 because that $100 you earned last year is now part of the pot. It's earning its own return. So year two, you earn $110, not 100, 110. You now have $1,210 in total. Doesn't sound like much yet, does it? $10 extra? Yeah, big deal. But stick with me because this is exactly where people underestimate what's coming. Let's fast forward. Same $1,000, same 10% a year, no extra contributions, not one more cent added. Just time doing what time does. After 10 years, about $2,590. You've roughly 2.5 times your money. After 20 years, around $6,700. And after 30 years, just over $17,000 from $1,000 that you only ever put in once. Now look at the shape of that growth. Notice it's not a straight line. It starts off looking almost lazy, barely doing anything for the first few years, and then without much warning, it takes off. That curve is the entire reason people say start early. Not because the early years feel exciting, they definitely don't. They feel slow and a bit pointless. But you're not investing for the early years. You're investing for the bend in the curve that shows up later. And you only get to that bend if you're already in the game long before it arrived. Now then, that example was a single lump sum you never touched again. But what happens if you keep feeding it? What if, instead of just leaving your $1,000 alone, you added $200 a month every single month? Let's run the same 30 years, same 10% average return, $1,000 to start, $200 a month after that. Your total contribution over those 30 years, money that actually came out of your pocket, comes to $72,000. But because of compound growth, that pot doesn't end at $72,000. It ends at roughly $472,000. You put in 72, you ended up with around 472,000. The difference, almost $400,000, is money you never personally earned from a job, from a side hustle, or anything else. It's money your money earned, purely by being given time to compound. That's not a rounding error. That's not a fluke. That's just what happens when you give compound growth 30 years to do its thing. Now, here's the part nobody puts on the motivational poster. Compound growth is a beautiful thing when it's working for you. It's an absolute nightmare when it's working against you, because compounding doesn't care whether it's growing your investments or growing your debt. It treats both exactly the same way. Credit card debt, for example, often sits at 20% interest or higher. That's not someone being mean to you. That's the exact same snowball mechanic, just rolling downhill in the wrong direction. The interest you owe starts earning its own interest, which is a horrible sentence to have to say out loud. So the lesson here cuts two ways. Compound growth is the best argument for starting to invest early, and it's the best argument for getting rid of high interest debt as fast as humanly possible. It's the same force, same maths. Completely different outcome depending on which side of it you're on. So to bring it home, compound interest means your money earns returns, and then those returns start earning returns on their own. It starts slow, it looks boring for ages, and then given enough time, it turns into a snowball that's genuinely hard to believe. The two things that decide how big that snowball gets are how much you put in and for how long you leave it rolling. And Einstein quote or not, that's about as close to magic as personal finance actually gets. All right, in the next video in this series, we're tackling a slightly bigger question. How much do you actually need to retire comfortably? We'll use everything from today to make that number feel a lot less scary. If this helped, please subscribe. This whole series is built to take you from zero to actually investing, one video at a time. All right, legends, see you in the next one.